a winding road enveloped in mist, the gentle hush of the York River weaving through dense trees. The Colonial Parkway was meant to be a place of tranquility, not terror. But between 1986 and 1989, its peaceful facade was shattered, cars abandoned, lives extinguished, and a lingering question that still chills to the bone. Who hunted along this quiet stretch of road? When love and innocence collide with something far more sinister, even the most serene paths can become corridors of fear. This is the story of the Colonial Parkway case, a haunting enigma that over 3 decades later still refuses to be forgotten. Fear on the open road, lives forever changed. This is Derrick Investigates, and I'm Derrick. Tonight, we confront a chilling mystery that lingers like a ghost along one of Virginia's most scenic routes, the Colonial Parkway. A stretch of road known for its beauty, now forever marked by tragedy, fear, and unanswered questions. Between 1986 and 1989, young lives were cut short under circumstances too unsettling to ignore. Couples vanished, only to be found in scenes that spoke of horror rather than love. And as the investigation unraveled, so did the sense of safety that once blanketed this quiet region. Who was behind these gruesome crimes? What secrets remain hidden beneath the quiet whispers of the Colonial Parkway? And why, after decades, do we still search for the truth? Stay with us as we navigate the evidence, confront the unknown, and ask the questions that refuse to be silenced. If the unknown intrigues you as much as it does me, don't forget to like this video and subscribe. Your support helps us shine a light on these haunting cases and continue the search for answers. To understand how it all began, we must return to a time when the Colonial Parkway became a road not just to travel, but to fear. Virginia's Colonial Parkway is a 23-mile stretch of road connecting historic landmarks and enveloped by dense woods. Often described as idyllic, it's a favorite among locals and tourists alike, a tranquil escape into nature, a road lined with history. But for a period between 1986 and 1989, this peaceful setting turned into the epicenter of a chilling mystery. It began on the cool evening of October 12, 1986. Kathy Thomas, a 27-year-old naval officer, and her partner Rebecca Dowski, a 21-year-old college student, decided to spend their Saturday exploring the beauty of Virginia's countryside. Both women were described as kind, ambitious, and full of life. Kathy, known for her determination, had recently made strides in her military career, while Rebecca, an aspiring writer, was loved for her wit and charm. Their last known moments together were simple, a drive along the Colonial Parkway, perhaps enjoying the vibrant autumn leaves and the serenity of the evening. But the peace they sought would soon be shattered. The following morning, Kathy's white Honda Civic was discovered near a scenic overlook on the parkway. It had been pushed down an embankment, its front end submerged in the York River. Inside, investigators found Kathy and Rebecca's lifeless bodies, bound and silenced. The crime scene baffled investigators. There was no evidence of robbery. Their wallets and other belongings were untouched. The scene was eerily clean, almost as if someone had gone to great lengths to ensure there would be no traceable evidence. At first, Kathy and Rebecca's death seemed like a tragic, isolated incident. But as months passed, an unsettling pattern began to take shape. 3 more young couples, 6 more lives, would vanish under chillingly similar circumstances. The next case came in September 1987. David Nobling, a 20-year-old known for his kind nature, and Robin Edwards, a 14-year-old full of excitement over her first crush, set out for an evening at Ragged Island Wildlife Refuge. It was supposed to be just another night, a quiet escape. But when they failed to return, concern turned to dread. Days later, their remains were found along the riverbanks, deepening the mystery. Then, in April 1988, another couple disappeared. Keith Call and Cassandra Sandy Haley, both in their late teens, had spent the evening at a party before driving off into the night. Keith's red Toyota Celica was discovered the next morning on the Colonial Parkway, the driver's door ajar, keys still in the ignition. Sandy's purse was left behind, as if they had only stepped away for a moment, but they never returned. Despite exhaustive searches, the two were never seen again. It was as if they had simply vanished into thin air. By September 1989, fear had spread through the region. This time, it was Daniel Lauer and Anna Maria Phelps, a young couple traveling along Interstate 64, heading toward Virginia Beach. Their car was later found abandoned at a rest stop. Nothing disturbed, no obvious signs of trouble. Weeks later, their remains were discovered deep in the woods, miles away from where they had last been seen. How they got there and why remains a chilling mystery. Though separated by time and distance, these cases shared undeniable similarities. Young couples, isolated settings, a near total absence of evidence. Whoever was behind these disappearances was careful, meticulous. It was as if they moved unseen, always a step ahead, leaving behind only unanswered questions and an ever-growing sense of fear. With each new case, the mystery only deepened. Why were these couples targeted? Was the person responsible someone they knew, someone they trusted? Or was it a stranger lurking in the shadows, waiting for the perfect moment to strike? The lack of physical evidence made it nearly impossible to find answers. There were no clear signs of struggle, no definitive leads, just the eerie silence left in the wake of each crime. Then, there was the unsettling connection to the Colonial Parkway. Could it really be a coincidence? Or had this quiet, scenic road become something far more sinister? Had it, in some twisted way, been chosen as a hunting ground? The Colonial Parkway case left law enforcement grappling with a series of cases that defied easy explanation. With no physical evidence linking the crime scenes and no clear motive, investigators were left with only fragments of information to piece together the puzzle. The FBI and Virginia State Police spearheaded the investigation, meticulously searching for any signs of a connection between the victims. While their efforts were relentless, the lack of witnesses or forensic evidence made progress painstakingly slow. The secluded nature of the crime scenes, dense woods, deserted rest stops, and remote overlooks worked to the killer's advantage. Early on, the possibility of a serial killer was raised. The similarities among the cases, a focus on young couples, the use of bindings in some instances, and the absence of robbery, pointed to a calculated predator. But the differences in the methods of crime and the handling of the bodies left investigators questioning whether these were truly the work of a single individual. What strikes me about this case is the eerie precision. It's as if the killer knew exactly how to operate in the shadows, choosing locations that offered seclusion, leaving behind just enough mystery to prevent a clear pattern from forming. When you see cases like this, where the usual indicators like financial gain or personal vendetta don't apply, you have to ask, was the motive something far more chilling? Was it about control? Was it about fear? As the media caught wind of the case, fear swept through Virginia. The Colonial Parkway, once a symbol of tranquility, became synonymous with dread. Residents avoided driving the route after dark, and couples took precautions to avoid isolated areas. What had once been a place of quiet escape had transformed into the heart of an unsolved mystery, one that decades later still refuses to give up its secrets. As the years passed, numerous theories emerged about who or what was behind the Colonial Parkway cases. Some pointed to the work of a single calculated predator, while others questioned whether these tragedies were linked at all. The most widely accepted theory suggests that a serial killer was at large, someone who carefully selected their victims and operated with chilling precision. Behavioral experts speculated that the perpetrator might have used charm or deception, perhaps even posing as a figure of authority. This idea gained traction when investigators discovered that Kathy and Rebecca's car had been pulled over and later pushed into the river, an action consistent with someone impersonating law enforcement. What strikes me about this case is how methodical the offender appears to be. A staged traffic stop suggests confidence, control, and possibly even experience with law enforcement tactics. Predators like this don't act on impulse. They plan, they adapt, and they know exactly how to make their victims feel safe until it's too late. Yet, not all experts agreed. Some believed that the differences in the crime scenes, firearms used in some cases, bindings in others, pointed to multiple killers rather than a single mastermind. Could it be that these were unrelated crimes, bound together only by location and tragic coincidence? If that were true, the parkway itself might have played a larger role, a stretch of road that offered just the right amount of isolation for those with dark intentions. Then came another chilling possibility. The idea that the perpetrator wasn't a stranger lurking in the shadows, but someone familiar to the victims. A local resident, a park ranger, or someone who frequented the same remote areas could have gained their trust just enough to strike without warning. The absence of defensive wounds in some cases only deepened this suspicion. Had these victims willingly let their guard down for someone they believed posed no threat? And then there were the whispers of something even more sinister, a theory that stretched beyond the work of a single individual. Some locals speculated about organized crime or even a cover-up, pointing to unresolved corruption cases that could explain the disturbing lack of evidence or progress in the investigation. In cases like this, experience has taught me that when an investigation stalls despite multiple victims, the real question isn't just who committed the crime, but who benefits from the silence. Missing evidence, conflicting reports, leads that go nowhere. These aren't just obstacles, they're patterns. And patterns, more than any single clue, often reveal the real story hiding in plain sight. For years, the Colonial Parkway cases remained a grim puzzle, scattered pieces of horror with no clear solution. But in the early 2000s, forensic advancements reignited hope. Investigators re-examined fibers, hairs, and other traces left behind, this time armed with modern DNA techniques. Could the key to unlocking the mystery have been hiding in plain sight all along? Then came a revelation that sent a chill through even the most seasoned detectives. A fresh analysis of the victims' vehicles revealed a disturbing truth. These weren't random abandonments. The killer had staged the cars to mimic routine parking or mechanical failure, a calculated deception designed to mislead investigators. What strikes me about this case is the level of control. Staging a crime scene isn't just about misdirection, it's about confidence. A killer who takes the time to manipulate how a body is found isn't worried about getting caught. They believe they're untouchable. With this chilling discovery, the suspect profile began to shift. Earlier theories painted a picture of an impulsive predator, but the deeper investigators looked, the more they saw something else, a methodical mind, someone who understood forensic countermeasures and knew how to stay ahead of the law. Then, in a major breakthrough, authorities announced on January 8, 2024, that DNA evidence had identified Alan Wilmer Sr., a local fisherman and hunter, as the perpetrator of the 1987 case involving David Knobling and Robin Edwards. He was also linked to the 1989 case of Teresa Lynn Spohr Howell. This revelation provides long-awaited answers but also raises new questions. While Wilmer is now confirmed as the killer in these cases, no forensic or physical evidence currently ties him to the other Colonial Parkway homicides. His ability to manipulate crime scenes and evade justice for decades underscores the challenges investigators have faced and still face. The Colonial Parkway case have haunted families and investigators for decades. And while this latest discovery brings some closure, the lingering shadows of unanswered questions remain. Could there still be more to uncover? For decades, the investigation into the Colonial Parkway case faced systemic roadblocks. The FBI, which initially took the lead, struggled with coordination across multiple jurisdictions, each with its own priorities and limited resources. The absence of centralized records meant that crucial leads were lost or overlooked, allowing the killer to remain in the shadows. However, the persistence of cold case units and advancements in forensic science have finally yielded results. On January 8, 2024, authorities identified Alan Wilmer Sr. as the perpetrator behind the 1987 case involving David Knobling and Robin Edwards, as well as the 1989 case of Teresa Lynn Spohr Howell. DNA evidence, once thought insufficient, ultimately provided the breakthrough that had eluded investigators for decades. This revelation marks a turning point in the case, proving that no mystery is truly unsolvable with time and technology. Yet, even as one chapter closes, questions remain. While Wilmer has been linked to some of the Parkway cases, the full scope of his involvement, or that of potential accomplices, has yet to be fully uncovered. Could further forensic advancements unlock more secrets? Could justice still be waiting for the other victims? The Colonial Parkway case haunted investigators for decades. Lives stolen, justice elusive. But time has a way of exposing even the darkest secrets. With the recent identification of Wilmer as the killer, one mystery is finally solved. Yet it begs the question, what other secrets remain buried? At Derrick Investigates, we believe no case should fade into the dark. Every voice matters. Every truth deserves to be heard. What do you think? Does this close the case, or is there more to the story? Share your thoughts in the comments. If this investigation kept you on edge, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. There are more stories out there waiting to be told. Until next time, stay sharp, stay curious, and never stop searching for the truth. I'm Derrick, and I'll be back soon with another investigation.